Morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It's 8:10 a.m. It is May 20th. Markets on Friday they didn't do much of anything. This morning we are up. Kind of went back to like a 50% retracement of the move. I can show you guys that in a little bit. This week we got Nvidia earnings. We have Snow earnings. Nvidia's up pre-market. Got a bunch of target raises. So that's what's really the big thing on deck. I believe that's what is that? May 22nd. Yeah, May 22nd is Nvidia's earnings. That should be a big market mover. You could see maybe the market move sideways all the way until that move, or maybe bake in some upside if they feel Nvidia is gonna beat expectations. We'll have to see. All right. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, anchor VWAPs, most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, previous day, all to help me find structure and a foundation to have me just look at the markets, have a roadmap, have a plan, and do this every day at 8:10 a.m. Around 8:30, go over scenarios, possible trades, possible longs, possible shorts that I might be interested in, and go over news, leaders and laggards, why stocks are moving, some news, some earnings. Basically, it's your one-stop shop every morning at 8:10 a.m. I kind of give you a summary of what's going on. All right, and if you enjoy that, we should you should subscribe, set an alert. That would be great. Of course, if you enjoy, you give me a thumbs up or a like. All right, and you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. So, why don't we get right into futures watch list here? All right, let's look at the VIX here. The VIX is up 1.83%. It's at 1221. Okay, and that's not a lot of fear. Silver, big time breakout, big time mover. It's up 0.83. It's at $31.52. Gold, I believe, might have made new highs. I have to look at that again. But gold is back up 0.38. Nasdaq's up 0.24. ES up 0.16. Russell up 0.14. The dollar is up 0.13. Ether is up 0.13. The Dow is up 0.07. 30-year bonds pretty much flat, but up 0.03. Bitcoin's pretty much flat. 10-year yield hasn't reported, but I don't think there's going to be much movement in that 10-year yield, even though the 10-year yield has been rising again. Crude actually broke up out of this balance range, and now it's failing. It's pulling back now. So it's very important to see what crude does. If it fails, it could go all the way back down. So it's very important to keep my eye on crude. Good morning, Chief. Or should I say Trump? I think Trump's in the room here. But congrats, Chief. Let's see here. Let's go to the Mag 7 Plus this morning. Let's see where we're rolling with there. All right. Nvidia got a bunch of target raises this morning. We have earnings on the 22nd, so Nvidia's up 1.29%. Let's see if Nvidia can go over 1,000. I don't see why it couldn't. Coinbase up 1.04%. AMD's up 0.75. Micron also got an upgrade this morning, so semis are getting a lot of love this morning. JP Morgan, let's see, Tesla's up 0.58. Do we have a laggard? We have Boeing. Boeing, I know, has been in some news. Let's see what Boeing. We'll look at that later. Let's see, Apple's down 0.31. BABA, obviously, is kind of making a move, but it's down 1.47%. All right, let's go move on to top sector stocks. what do we have here? No surprise that Qualcomm semi is up 0.41, followed by Visa. There's not a lot here. All right. J&J, why are you down, J&J? Johnson & Johnson's down 0.67. Let's see, Johnson & Johnson reports Tremfya Quasar maintenance study and UC primary endpoint and all the major secondary endpoints, including highly statistical significant rates of. All right, I'm not going to read all that. So apparently it's just down 0.67%. All right, let's look at the swing trade list. Let's look at that. Let's see what's moving. There's not a lot moving here. Micron got that upgrade. Paramount Global was up 2.16. Tilray's up 1.52. Hasbro and Mara's up 1.18. Dell up 1%. Supermicro Computers up 0.98. Not much moving here. Let's look at laggards here. Not really a lot of laggards. Just Ulta Beauty. Robinhood's down 0.85. Really, Walgreens. I think that's Ross. Not much going on there. Let's go back to that list and let's go back to sectors, which no surprise here. Semis up 0.61. A lot of semis getting love this morning. All right, technology up 0.18. Largest sector in the markets at 29% of the market weight. That's what moves the market. So if you have, which in semis is included in technology sector, so yeah, this market is not bearish at all, and there's no laggard. Okay, that's what we have going on here. So we have a ton of Fed speak this week, a ton of Fed speak. Not any major news catalyst besides Nvidia in earnings. Okay, so why don't we go over to here and we'll just look at the week. What do we got today? Fed Bostic, Fed Barr, Fed Waller, Fed Jefferson, Fed Bostic. All right. Tomorrow, Fed Barkin, Fed Waller, Fed Williams, Fed Bostic, Fed Barr, Fed Bostic, Fed Collins, Fed Mester. Geez, I don't see Powell in here. So I did see Powell talked somewhere over the weekend, but that was over the weekend. Oh, we do have FOMC minutes on Wednesday. I didn't see that. FOMC minutes on Wednesday. That's not the biggest mover, but then we got Chicago Fed on Thursday with S&P Global Composite Services and Manufacturing on Thursday with new home sales and Fed Bostic. Friday, Fed Waller and Michigan Consumer Sentiment. So, I mean, I wouldn't say nothing, but it's a little lighter than the normal things that move the market. All right, that's what's going on there. If we look at some news here, let's just look at what we got. Let's see. JP Morgan raises 2024 interest income forecast to 91 billion. That's why JP Morgan's doing pretty good. Tesla's doing damage control discounts for European fleet buyers. Let's see. Microsoft to unveil AI devices and features ahead of developer conference. Apple slashes iPhone prices in China amid fierce Huawei. I'm probably saying that wrong. I forget how to say that. Huawei. I think it's Huawei competition. All right. I guess that's why Apple's slightly down. Okay. And let's just see. Oh, here we go. Johnson Controls. That's not what I want to see. I'm just looking for big news. Let's see why Paramount Global's moving. I know Sony, I think, is purchasing them. Sony Pictures Entertainment, Apollo Global Management have signed non-disclosure agreements that will allow them to look at Paramount Book. Okay. Just trying to see here. Nothing really else here. We can look at earnings now for this week. All right. So this morning, Wix reported after the close today, Palo Alto, Zoom, Trip. Tuesday, before the open, Macy's, Lowe's, AutoZone, Xpeng. All right. After the close on Tuesday, Toll Brothers, Urban Outfitters. All right. Wednesday, before the open, Target, TJ Maxx, Petco, Williams Sonoma. After the close on Wednesday, there's the big ones: Nvidia, Snowflake. That's really it. Thursday, Ralph Lauren, TD Bank, BJ's, Medtronic. After the close on Thursday, what do we got? Intuit, Deckers, Ross, Workday, and that's really it. But the big one is Wednesday after the close. I did see Target. I just saw some news on Target cutting prices or something. I think they're cutting prices. I don't know where I just saw that, but I saw that. Um, so that's earnings. Okay, I think we can get right into daily charts now, and let's look at those together. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to show you. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little here. So this market's just been going up. I mean, there's no if ands or buts about that. The last 3 days saw us make a new all-time high, pull back, and then look, we're just kind of balancing. All right. So holding above the previous month's highs. This is all bullish. Okay. Not even pulling back to here. It's just bullish. Bullish activity until the market says otherwise. If we go sideways, it's like I said, we have Nvidia reporting later. People could just be waiting. Not going to put too much risk on, not too much risk off until that happens. Because let's say they disappoint, it's going to take the market down with it, most likely Nvidia. So that's really important. Okay, so where is the SPY at now? 530.25. 530.28. We are gapping up. Okay, so we're gapping up. I mean, still not nothing to look at here. Let's look at the futures. So does that not look right to me? Oh, here we go. So look, futures, big move, big move, big move, right? Boom, all-time highs, and then sideways. So look, see, we're gapping up right here. Futures is actually at last month's highs. Futures, that's futures. So, but sideways. I mean, just bullish, really bullish. Can't really say anything other than it's bullish. What do we got? The Qs. Here's the Qs. Nasdaq again made new highs on Thursday, and on Friday had kind of a nothing day. Yes, it did pull back here. It did get rid of some single prints in this session, exactly the single prints that it needed to clean, and just had kind of like a hammer here, hammer candle. Where are we at now? 452.70, 452.70. You are close to the highs here. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, right at the highs. Right at the highs of Friday. Let's look at futures. Yeah, see, we're just big move and we're moving sideways. That's bullish. You can't say anything about it. Doesn't matter if you think we should go down. It really doesn't matter. Structure's telling us bullish. Okay, that's what structure's telling us. All right, I think we can go over to the triple-headed monster now. Now that it's past 820, boom. Now this is interesting. Okay, we came down here in yields, dropped down to the 200-day moving average. Okay, well look at this. The last 3 days, yields have been rising again. So they're getting a pullback now. If they can't take out this swing high, then you know what? We might go back down. But that's just something to note in a 10-year yield. Okay, this is your triple-headed monster. Okay, so that's one piece of it. The next piece is the dollar. Now the dollar isn't popping back as much as the 10-year yield is, but it's still hit the 200-day moving average. They're really in sync with each other. Hit the 200-day, the 100-day, and now bounced up. And now it's kind of getting some selling pressure. So we just have to see what happens with this dollar. Now again, the final piece is the VIX. Now the VIX is 30 days out of fear, and there's just not a whole lot of fear right now. People aren't hedging their bets. We're at a 12.2 VIX, which is not going to cause a lot of volatility. Okay, so fear is very cheap. Puts are cheap. So we need that to start ramping up, go over 15 at least to start seeing some volatility in this market. Okay. Now let's move on to my thing, market profile and volume profile. Yeah, let's move on to that. I mean, I can show you really quickly. I did skip over it. Forgot actually. Just to show you some upgrades and downgrades here, just really quickly. And I'll only mention ones that I think that are important. Micron technology upgraded. Okay, Nvidia's target raised. Humana got target raised. That was been beaten down. Duke Energy target raised. This is just Arista Networks target raised. Ulta Beauty target lowered. Take Two target lowered. There's a lot here. Autodesk target lowered. Twilio reiterated to a buy. What else here? McDonald's reiterated at a buy. Just trying to see what's moving the markets here. Chipotle stayed in at neutral. And that's pretty much it there. That's really all I want to go over here. We can move on now. The market profile, volume profile. We will look at structure. Okay. I mean, you can pretty much see this structure is pretty bullish. Okay. All right. So let's look at this. We got our little profile here. So it's rolling. So here's our value area. No surprise. And then we got our top. So you got a little bit of an excess here, but it's pretty much bullish imbalance. Okay. A regular profile will have a bell curve, so you have room to the upside. Okay, so like I said, it needed to move the most traded price a week up. It did. New most traded price of the week is 53.20, around here. Okay, in this area, 53.20, 53.22, call it. It has managed to move the value higher. It just means that the market's bullish, right? All that means is when the market moves up, what does it do? It accepts the price is higher, just like a new house, right? If a house was selling at 350 and then all of a sudden the same type of houses now are selling at $400,000 for, say, the last month, well, guess what? The market is accepting those houses, those types of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Let's say that $400,000. Now that's the new price, right? It's the same thing. The market's an auction, so whatever the market deems fair, which this is a fair price now, that's how you look at the market profile and volume profile. That's it. It's an auction. So that's how you look at it. Oh, I guess a 3 bedroom house, a 2 bath is $400,000 now. It's been that way for the last month. That's it. You can't argue it. That's what the market deems fair. Okay? And then you got to see if the market pushes up. Does that house become 450, 425, right? That's really how the profile works. That's all it is. It's telling you where value is. That's all that's telling you. 70% of the trades happen in this area. That's deemed value. If you pay above it, that's not. If you pay below it, good job. Okay? All right. So, let's look at that structure after that little lesson. It's 8:30. So, so this is like I was talking about, I'm sorry I got interrupted by Alexa alarm going off. My apologies. So this is what we're looking at here, profile, right? So we got our value area. It's pretty balanced in this area, right? Market's accepting the higher prices. So it's bullish. There's no argument. Doesn't I don't care what you predict. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. This is what the market's telling us, right? That's why I like looking at the profile. I don't have an argument with the profile because it's telling me what's really going on in the market. Okay, so price, where's price? 5,334 in the futures market, right? We're gapping up. So price is here, right? Right in value. So market's saying this is a fair price for futures right now. Okay, it's accepting the prices. Okay, like I mentioned, NVIDIA earnings, all that stuff. All right, so we're gapping up. So let's look at on Friday. We have our highs, we have our lows, and now we have our overnight high and our overnight low. Now, this little mini profile in the overnight is very balanced. There's not a lot of edge to that. Okay, not a lot of edge to that. So we do have one thing. Let's open this up a little bit. Let's open this up. All right, let's really just open this up here. All right, so one thing to note here. Okay, we have our gap. We have our gap. This would be the gap fill, Friday's highs. Okay, one thing you have here is 100% in the overnight. It's 100% net long. We opened right here, and all that's happened is long. Okay, long. What's happened from here? This low. Everybody's long. So you got longs, right? Market closed here. Market actually opened and gapped up, and now we're up here. Okay, so this would be considered, right, new business. Okay, now this is where psychologically this comes into play. Okay, and this doesn't mean bearish. This is more or less for a mini trade, a mini thing, a mini thing, looking at profile, right? So you know you got longs from here. So people are long. Let me close and look, the market's up again, right? So if you got long here, and let's just say we're up here, what are people going to probably do if the market whips down through this most traded price of the overnight, right? Fills that gap. We're probably just going to touch this area. That doesn't mean it's bearish. It just means, all right, let's take these little longs out and reset the market. Okay? A lot of times that happens. That's just a little tiny correction that I see. Okay, so now let's look at the gap. All right, and let's just look at what's going on. Now it's very balanced here, so I don't like when it's right in the middle, because that just means equal sellers to buyers. No one's in that much pain. So you really need to see this market push up into this supply zone to then these longs and the longs overnight to be like, oh, if this market whips down, they're going to get out. Okay, so what do you want to see here in the gap? If everybody watches me, gap rules are you can get a gap and a go. Most bullish, second most bullish, failure to fill the gap, you go up higher. Third most bullish, you fill that gap and you go higher, right? What is not very bullish, fill the gap, start going into range of Friday, and maybe test that most traded price. That would make you go, all right, market's needs more information to go higher, right? It doesn't mean it's bearish, it just means that market might need more information. Like I said, NVIDIA earnings coming up. That's really it, okay? As far as nuance, I'm trying to look at nuance here, all right? The only nuance, honestly, is this level here, 53.20, okay? 53.20 is the most traded price and of last week, of this rolling week, and of Friday. And it's also known as the POC. It's the point of control market profile. That just means the most time spent on Friday was this price here, 53.18. I think that probably gets tested. It's called the prominent POC. It just means the most time spent was spent at that price on Friday. Okay? That's all that means. The most time and the most volume was spent here. So like I said, if longs are up here and you just get a little weakness in the market, you'd usually test this area. All right? So just that's really all I'd be looking for today as far as that goes. Okay, so this is a key area here to probably for the bulls defend as well. So we can get into some scenarios now. Like I said, this volume's not the best again this morning, so let's look at a bullish case. Okay, there's supply up here. I'm not really that interested when you go into supply to go long. That's a very low probability bet or trade. I shouldn't say bet, but it's very low probability. All right, so I would like to talk. I kept talking about a correction, right? So if we get this correction, which if the market moves up into this supply, maybe get some weakness, go through the open. Now remember, the most traded price of the overnight is right here, right? If we go through that, those overnight weak hands are going to have to correct and cover their longs and liquidate, and we're probably going to go down, at least fill that gap. And like I said, I think there's a good shot we come down here and test the most traded price and the prominent POC of Friday around 53.18 to 53.20. I think we test that area. Okay, now this is all setting up for a bullish play, right? It's green. So if the market defends this area, like in here, and we do one of these, and but then all of a sudden we start doing lower highs, well, guess what? Now the market gave you liquidity. Sellers came in, gave you the fuel to now start to move up, back up, right? And we could move back up in here. And I don't think we go super high. We could bounce off here. That's really what I would be looking for, because this market's got low volume. That's a little mini correction you could take advantage of. That's really what I see there. Now, as far as the bear, okay, a couple things have to happen. Okay. Now, these are mini intraday things I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the overall picture. Overall, we're bullish. Overall. Okay. So, if the market does gap and go, boom, right into this supply. Do I think the market goes super high with Nvidia coming up? I don't know. Probably a better shot of going a little higher than going lower, but let's say it gets into the supply, gets some resistance. Like I said, same scenario in the bull scenario in the beginning, but you're going to look at it like, okay, what if you were to go short in here and we go through the open, and this area is very key, this most traded price of the overnight. If you, it's around 53.32. If you rip through that, you're going to fill the gap, all right? You might get a little bounce here, and then, like I said, you're going to test this area. Okay, the bulls have to defend this area. If they can't, and you break it, and you hold, you find acceptance here, probably going to test the lows of Friday. Okay, and then you have this big demand zone here. This could get a bounce. I would suspect you get in here, you don't hold down here, you might get a bounce. Okay, it's really what I'm seeing. Now, let's look at the NASDAQ. All right, let's see how different. Are they similar? I really prefer when they're similar. All right, let's look at that together. And we'll zoom in here as well on the NASDAQ here. All right, so let's look at our profile. Got a big move in the NASDAQ, and then you got value, right? So, where the heck is the, am I blind? Give me one sec here. Oh, the NASDAQ, it's going to move up, but the NASDAQ has not. I just want to show you, this is the real-time trading hours here, so I'll just show you. The NASDAQ has not moved the most traded price up yet, but you can see up here it's going to. So by the open, it should be up higher. It should be up around here, around 189.91. It's going to move up. It already moved up in the 24 hours. It will move up. So the most traded price of the week is up here. Trust me. All right. Trust me on that one. It will move up today. So this market's accepting higher price. You can see the value areas up here. So again, Nasdaq's doing the same thing. Now, what the Nasdaq has going for it, all right. I mean, I don't look at patterns a ton, but yeah, I can't deny this one. You got an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here, right? Look at this session, right? Here, come down here, and you got here. So you got your shoulder, your head, and you got a neckline right here. Look at that. It's perfect almost. If you come back up here, boom. Inverse head and shoulders is bullish pattern. So you got that right up. It's kind of like perfectly set up for that. Right when you see it, I mean, it's just perfect shoulders and neckline. It's just like pretty easy to see. So that's what's going on in NASDAQ. Okay. Now, very interesting. I don't know what changed in the market in ES, but this market is not gapping up now. It was up here. The market is pulling back. I don't know if there's been news or something, but the market is pulling back. Okay, so the NASDAQ now is, I want to make sure you're seeing where it's bouncing. This is the most traded price of Friday. So, and there's a demand zone here. Pulling back. I don't know why it's pulling back right now. That's not really important. It's no longer gapping. So let's just look at ES real quick. I just want to make sure, is the ES doing the same thing? Yes. ES now is filling the gap. All right, so some news must have just popped out. Let me just make sure if there's anything. I mean, Bostic was talking. Right now I don't know. Okay. So obviously that changes things a little bit. All right. So what I would say here is, what do we have here? You got Friday's highs, Friday's lows, overnight high, overnight low. So this whole fading thing off the open is pretty much gone. What I was talking about before. Most traded price is here. We're at the most traded price of Friday. Okay. So this area right here, the bulls got to defend it. Okay. That's the key. This area here is a weak high. Also, I said the neckline. All right. That's about 168.86. If the market pulls back here into this demand, you start moving back up, this is a big time breakout level, or it could be a break a little bit and then it fails. It could go either way. Okay, so let's get right into these NASDAQ scenarios here because I gotta wrap this up. One thing to point out of single prints, right? This is just emotional buying or selling. I want to make you see how important they are. These are single prints right here. Single prints, right? When that big buying happened in all this low volume, okay, look at what we did on Friday. If you look at it, it took all the single prints out. That's why it's so cool and so important to have them on my charts. It literally took them out right here. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's go for scenarios. All right, now we already went over one, but let's go. Bullish scenario here. Okay, you're getting a pullback in this market. This level here, it's got to be defended. Right there. Right there. That's also the POC of Friday, the prominent POC here. Demand zone, most traded price of the week. So bulls have to defend this area. Okay, if we come, we're already bouncing from here. If you come in here, get some lower highs here. I mean higher lows. You can push up here, and you got to test this weak high, this neckline, and you can push up. Now there's a big supply up in here, so I don't know if you're going to just rocket through that. You probably won't, but that's probably the move. All right, probably the move. Really watch semis. Semis are still up, but they're not up as much as they were. All right, so let's look at a short scenario. All right, so I said this had to be defended by bulls, right? Now you have a lot of supply overhead here. Okay, so now really you want to see what the market does. Now, firstly, if the market does do this and it breaks this demand and we start accepting these lower prices, well, these are basically single prints here. Friday session, you can rip them out, go back to test Friday's lows, and you really have to see. I would guess, okay, I would guess if we did this, I could see the market recover. Now, can the market rip the final single prints out and try to go for this gap? Could. All right. Could. It's a possibility. All right. That's one. Number two, if the market does go back up into these supply zones, well, guess what? We have big earnings coming up later in the week. People could get nervous and be like, you know what? I'm not taking my chances. Let's do some lower highs. And we go back and we settle here around the most traded price. That's also could happen. All right. So that's what I'm seeing this morning. All right. Hope everybody enjoyed that analysis. Okay. Hope everybody enjoyed that. All right. Please give me a like if you did. That would be much appreciated. All right. You can always subscribe and set an alert for future. Again, I do this every day at 8:10 a.m. Please join me. All right. You get a lot of news here. You get a lot of analysis. I think it's pretty quality. So hopefully you learned something today, and hope everybody has a good day, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.